Welcome to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I'm Tony Rathman with my wife Cherie. We have two sets of special guests tonight. Chris and Audra were on vacation, the other normal team members of Entity Voices. So tonight we have the special treat of having some past guests, Ron Yacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez, join us as co-hosts tonight. So let's welcome them. And also our special guest for tonight, Michelle Lebaron. Michelle, how you doing?
Hi, Michelle.
I'm doing awesome.
Oh, great to hear. Great to hear. What
We're
at?
on.
Oh, nothing.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Michelle, you know what? I'm going to ask this question just off the bat, Michelle. How long have you been involved in the paranormal? Because I don't know the answer to that.
It's been I've been in it for a very long time, ever since I was young, but I didn't get into it like fully until like maybe 11 years ago.
Okay. Well, that's over a decade. That's a considerable amount of time to be in the paranormal. So that's fantastic.
Cool.
All right, so let me just give you a little background on Michelle. Michelle obviously is a paranormal investigator. She's also an intuitive and an empath, correct, Michelle?
Very much so.
Okay, very cool. And she has been given the nickname by those that she investigates with as the ghost magnet. So I'm assuming you're attracting things. That's very cool. But she's also the team lead for REAP investigations for now the newly established West Coast chapter. Is that correct, Michelle?
Yes, it is. Nevada and California chapter.
Very cool. And when was that established?
About a year. Well, when we were actually in Vulture City last year, Bill and Chris asked me if I would lead the team, and I accepted it. So,
very cool.
And I wasn't going to join a team. I was like a team member at large with them, but there were a few that I worked with and got along very well, and we decided to put us all together, and voila, here we are.
Awesome.
That's how to do it. That's the way to go. It's about the energy you have together,
Absolutely, you have to vibe.
Yeah,
and we're like sisters, all of us, and it's an amazing feel. So
very cool. Yeah, and I agree with Laura. That's the way to do it when you can relate well with the people that you work with, and branch out that group from a standing point already of existence. That's the way to do it. No doubt about it. Matter of fact, Entity Voices may be coming up with a East Coast chapter since our two other teammates, the Entity Voices, are in the process of moving, and that's why they're out in, I think, North Carolina?
Yeah, they're watching now. Hi, Chris. Hi, Audra.
Oh, hey, they're on. Very cool.
Hi, guys.
So they're out looking at the area, visiting family, and so who knows? Maybe Entity Voices.
I'm actually in North Carolina right now.
How's the weather?
Muggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, but it rains a lot in the evenings. And it's just the moisture everywhere. It's just, I FaceTimed my best friend Lisa, and yesterday after I got off work, because I've been working 10-hour shifts, I'm here for a work thing going on. So she said I looked like my hair was from the 80s because it was just all curly and just all over the place.
Yeah, they don't have the humidity stuff out west. They don't have that humidity stuff. It's a whole different. You can't hide from it.
No, I miss my home. I want to go back.
Yeah, I remember growing up as a kid. I grew up in Wisconsin, and in the summer the humidity was just 80-90%, And yeah, what it can do to hair is absolutely incredible because it curls it, frizzes it, does all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but right now,
Yeah, I'm like this. Yeah.
it's happening to me right now. Oh, her. I mean, her. It's happening to
It is
her.
also good for your skin, though.
Yeah, to a point. I mean, after a while, though,
Remember when we went to the Philippines? I'm like, oh my god, my skin is
I got out of
glowing.
I got out of the shower, and it wasn't 2 minutes after I felt like I just got out again because I was wringing wet. So yeah, I know. How
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
So Michelle, you supplied some very cool clips and some photos we're going to take a look at tonight. And,
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
I think what I'd like to do is play one of them right now, and I'll let you give a little intro in it. This clip, I believe, is from Locke, California, and it is a REM pod session that you did out in a garden setting area. You want to give a little background on that?
I was up there visiting, my Cali family. And we decided to, do something together. So we went to Locke, California at night. And we went into, I've never seen anyone go into the garden area. But for some reason, we all decided, let's go in there and investigate. Because everybody else investigates everything else there. So we all sat down and we were totally still. And what I have is, I forgot what it's made by, but it's a 360 motion detector.
Right.
And like if it's this way, it turns red. If it's this way, it turns green. If it's this way, it turns blue. If it's this way, it turns orange.
So the colors on the button actually change color? Or is the direction indicated?
With the direction that the shadow is coming from, or energy. And so we were sitting there and I'm like, hey, if someone's here with us, would you like to come in and speak to us? Can you maybe stand in front of that little circular object on the floor, on the ground? And it goes off. It's like, yes. And it's red. So it was like right there, right in the front, like in the entrance of the garden. And then we were just asking it questions and it would go off. And we asked if it was a female. It went off. And then Stephanie, my good friend, who is one of the leaders of the Brentwood Ghost Tours, asked if it was May. And May was an opera singer in Locke, I believe. And she asked if it was May, and it went off. Okay. So it was a pretty short session, but it was pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, let me play that for our audience. Unfortunately, because you're hooked up through Zoom, Michelle, you won't actually get to be able to view it while it plays, but it's your
That's
clip,
okay.
So I'm sure you know what I'm about to play. So for our audience, here is that clip.
Can you set that off again, please? Thank you very much. It's standing in front. See the red? Light it up again, please, if you're here with us. If you're a male, light it up. If you're a female, can you stand by that circular object? Thank you very much.
So you're a female.
Holy shit, guys.
Is this May? If this is May, can you light that up, please? Hi, May. Hi, May. Are you just enjoying your evening here in this beautiful garden? Or are you checking on us to see what we're doing? May, are you performing tonight? If you could sing for us, we'd love to hear your voice.
May, can you see us? If you can see us, please light those up. Walk around that circular object on the ground, please.
Very cool clip. So what's the history of that place? I'm not familiar with where that is, or you said that.
I believe they were railroad. What it is it's a small Chinese community back in the day where they had the mining and the gold and all that. And that is the place where they lived. I guess the Chinese weren't able to be amongst the,
right,
the miners and everything else. And so they made their little town. It's a little town. It's literally a block. It's got all the old buildings in it. They had a gambling hall in there, school, boarding house. I'm not quite sure the full-on history of why they were there. I think it has something to do with the railroad and mining. And it's off the Delta in Sacramento. I think it's Walnut Grove. I think Walnut Grove, California. It's a pretty cool place to go. It's extremely haunted. I've got many things there. So, but the Brentwood Ghost Tours, my girls, they do tours there sometimes in the evening, and it's a fun tour. And they give you the whole history about everything. So if you ever want to do that and you're in California, hit them up.
When you get REM pod responses like that, that's exciting. When you get a direct response, asking, responding to a question, that's freaking exciting. And it didn't happen once. It happened a couple of times.
And that's outside the house, right?
Well, it's outside the building area. They were in an actual garden, but you're absolutely right, Lourdes, to ask multiple questions and to get responses like that's rare. I mean, TV shows show it all the time. They're getting answer after answer, but anybody who does this on a regular basis knows that doesn't happen one right after another like you were getting. So that really was some amazing footage to be able to get responses like that after multiple set of questions in maybe a 4-minute time period that played. So 3 minutes. So that was very cool.
That's the exception. That's the exception, not the rule. And much like everything we got to see that Michelle submitted for the show, two things seem to be apparent in all the evidence she put up. One is there's a lot of relevant connection that shows that for whatever period of time at the location, there was a connection between our realm and spirit because of the stuff was significant that happened. The second thing is that they know how to go, woo, when stuff happens that the Sheena said before.
Right.
The
reaction, which is genuine to the level of evidence that is, because that's really not, like you said, that's not common for that to keep happening. And you saw the perimeter. There wasn't anything going past the thing to set it off.
Right.
Absolutely correct. And you're right. And I think that connection, which we'll see throughout various other clips we're going to see from Michelle tonight, that connection probably to Michelle actually helps in that process as well. And we'll see that in other clips and stuff that we're going to see from her. But
by the time I got through watching all the evidence, I was that close to changing my name to Michelle Lebaron. Let me just say that.
Oh my gosh.
It's fantastic stuff. It's a great.
Blushing. I have so much more that I have not shared that would just blow people's minds. I mean, I do have a really good presentation of things that I have captured that is just, it's made people emotional. It's made them cry. I've had spirit communication with a woman that was murdered at a hospital in California. And I guess the audio was pretty bad, and so Tony couldn't share it. But that was one of the most emotional sessions I have ever had. And every time I show that, people just bawl. They cry.
I know exactly which one you're talking about because I remember reviewing it. And the answers, excuse me, the answers that were on there sounded like a little girl. And she was answering questions right and left with direct answers to your questions. and unfortunately I couldn't show it because it looked like maybe you had gone through and tried to enhance it, and the peak levels were off the charts, and I couldn't.
Yeah, the thing was, I took it and I put it onto Windows Movie Maker, which is really old school, and it screwed up the audio, and I put the little text in, everything that I heard. It was actually a woman, and her name was Pearlie. She was the caretaker there, and she was murdered. She was shot in cold blood.
Yeah,
and she kept saying, I wish I would have. Yes, I wish I would have saw him. Like if she would have saw him, she might have been able to stop the other woman that was murdered. It was just, it's emotional. I still, to this day, get chills from that. And this woman relives it every day. And we've gone back, and actually I had a friend go there who is a medium. She's from Vegas. She went to that spot with nobody there, and she sent her to the light. So it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I apologize. I couldn't show that one. It just, when I played it through the OBS system on a live stream, it just, the audio was lost, and I'm like, okay, but
no, that's cool. I'll post it on my page one day for everyone so that they can cry.
Yeah, it was a sad.
I'm crying now because I'm not going to see it right away.
It's beautiful and emotional. The beautiful aspect of it is that she was actually pleading and asking me and speaking to me and answering my questions, and it's like you'd never see anything like it.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'll give you that. I just unfortunately couldn't play it because, like I said, when it runs through the double system and then sent out Facebook Live,
I totally get it.
Unaudible. But on that note, we are going to take a look at one that is very audible, and there are some amazing responses in this one. And so I'll let you give a little preview to it. This next clip that I'm going to play for our audience is from the Keyhole Bar, and it is a spirit box session. And I actually combined this because it was in the same location with an EVP that you got at the end of the session at the Keyhole Bar.
The one that says Charlotte?
Yeah, don't give it away. Let the audience hear
okay.
it. But yes.
They're going to hear it anyway. It's good.
Yeah, it is good. So you just want to give a background about how, the Keyhole Bar, where it's at, how you got in there?
I did the Eureka Paracon. I was a speaker there. And I was with a small group, myself and 4 others, with like my best friend Renee, Lisa, and Paul Welch. And Paul filmed me doing this inside this bar. It's an old bar in Eureka, Nevada. It's now a candy shop. It's right next door to the Opera House, or in between the Opera House and the Jackson House. And a lot of people, say, oh, well, Eureka's not haunted. Well, I've got some things from the Jackson House. I don't know if you've got that one where it's another spirit box session.
Yeah, I do have that.
Eureka is a very active place at night. It comes alive. And especially that hotel, the Jackson Hotel. Oh my gosh, crazy. But, it was just during a Paracon, and just a small group of us went into this little old abandoned little bar. There was nothing in there but an empty bar, and we got some pretty cool stuff. So.
All right. Well, let me play that. But one question before I do, because the entire clip consists of you asking for Charlotte, and Charlotte actually delivering a message to you at the end of this clip. Who was Charlotte?
I feel like Charlotte was a young girl who was trying to communicate, and she was trying to use all the energy she could, including ours, to be able to communicate. So, and to give us energy. to feel her and everything. I believe she was a young woman, maybe 15, 20, maybe. Old soul. She was an older generation, but I didn't picture it. It all came so quickly.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if there was some history of the building that had...
see, we didn't check that,
No
but
problem.
it all came so quickly. We just like, whoa, it just blew us away.
All right. Well, let me play that for our audience so that they can hear this particular clip, because there are some really cool responses in here. And I know I have some questions after this plays. I'm sure Ron and Lourdes do too. But here for our audience is that clip.
Charlotte, come forward, please.
I'm challenging her. Can we speak to Charlotte, please? No? Why? Can you say one of our names?
From the evil. What the hell? Is Charlotte trapped?
Magical power.
Magical power?
We tried it.
It didn't work.
You said it didn't work.
I said I tried it right before that.
Yeah.
I tried it.
Wow.
It didn't work.
On Jesus.
On Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right now.
It was.
Did you see Jesus?
Rainbow.
Rainbow.
Have you read the Bible?
Eyes interest.
Lost interest.
I heard Satan.
I'm mean. He goes, I'm mean.
Satan.
Satan?
Satan.
What the?
Yeah, we are.
I said I'm coming.
Why are you afraid? Let's do it right now. Oh, and she says more. Holy crap, she said more than it. Let's do it right now. Oh, and she says more. Holy crap, she said more than it.
Okay,
That is pretty clear.
that was very cool.
That's pretty interesting, though.
Yeah, some great responses in there. And what app were you using during that session? If you don't remember, that's okay. I was just curious.
I don't. It was, I believe, one of Dave Miller's ITC
Oh, okay. Yep, Dave Miller's
applications.
ITC. Yep. Very
Yes,
cool.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It started getting a little dark at the end there.
Yeah.
But you were getting good responses. And that
Yeah.
even great.
It says I'm
It's awesome.
Jesus. At first, I'm Jesus. And then now I'm...
Then demon, then Satan.
Oh, okay. I know what it was. It was the ethereal box.
Okay, yep.
Yes,
uh,
that's
from-
right. Yes.
Yeah.
It's got good and evil. It'll choose good and evil, voice banks. It switches. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, very, very cool.
It worked really well, and that's a testament to. We talked to Tony several times about when people are skeptical of of things coming through, and you still have more stuff coming in this episode that is going to the idea that this is chance or the app is programmed or any of that stuff. But that's yet another example of an intelligence, of an interaction that is in the moment, of an awareness of self and of what in the environment. That's just it's fantastic to see, you know. And then I guess it's interesting, as you're saying, it runs the gamut too of the Jesus, demons, Satan was
right. That's a great point, Ron. And you know what really solidified it for me, and this actually wasn't part of the same clip. I actually found it, I think either on your Facebook or your YouTube, but you had that EVP then to follow up. I mean, you were asking about Charlotte, you were asking questions, you were having this male give responses, but then you get an EVP, a straight EVP, no app involved, with that clearly said Charlotte is giving you energy, and that was awesome.
Yep, that was a really, really great EVP.
It's a good EVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was very cool, and that was in the Keyhole Bar. Now, is that also in Eureka?
Yes, it's in between the Opera House and Jackson House.
Okay.
It's now a candy shop.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sold. I want to go.
Yeah.
Is that since it's a candy shop, I'm assuming they don't allow investigations there anymore?
Probably not.
Oh, bummer.
That's a shame. I hate it when places that get good activity either get torn down or go away or disappear for one reason or another. It's kind of heartbreaking to see places like that disappear, and it happens all the time, and it's just...
Has anybody offered them money to do it? Because I would imagine, unless there's something creepy going on, the candy shop isn't functioning in the hours that we are.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point, Ron. We always think of that too. We're like, okay, they're only open from such and such hours. Investigators don't come in till 7, 8, 9, depending on the time of year. And it's like a whole new revenue stream.
Yeah,
as long as they're not dipping into the candy bins while they're in there. But
you got to put that in the contract. Right. Here's $850. You give us 5 hours and 14 Snickers, and we're good.
Yes.
So true.
10 root beer barrels.
But yeah, that would be a question to ask them, though, if anyone's ever asked if they could still investigate that.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure I'd be curious to find out even if they're still having experiences there as a candy shop as compared to what it was prior. And that would tell you right away. And my personal opinion is, they are, because those things don't just disappear or go away.
Yeah.
So,
it sounds like a great place.
You're right.
A lot of activity seems like.
Yeah, Tony, that's the first question. Is stuff still flying off the shelves and not in a retail sense?
Right.
And what time do we start?
Right. Exactly. But, if they're, and we've seen this time and time again where somebody who didn't even aware of the past history of a building or the occurrences that have happened there, that a new shop opens up and the old owner comes back and says, hey, I used to run the camera shop or whatever it was here prior to them having it. And they say, do you ever hear footsteps, or do you ever hear this? And they're like, all the time. And it's like, okay, that activity is still occurring.
Yep. And then they call Michelle Lebaron.
She's cute.
So cool. All right. Well, Michelle's got another one that I'm going to play. And this one, again, in Eureka, was at the Washoe Club.
Mm.
And
the Washoe?
No, I'm sorry, Jackson House. This is the Jackson.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you this. When I use an application, I never use anything that has social media or my name or anything. And I'm just going to put that out there. That way no one can poo-poo and say, oh, it's all reprogrammed into your tablet. Well, because Michelle Lebaron is my name. It's my maiden name. So how does it know my maiden name?
Exactly.
So just to let you know. my emails or and I don't have any type of social media or contact lists or anything on that tablet. It's clearly strictly for ITC applications, and that's all I use it for.
Right. And speaking of the negativity that you're talking about, I mean, that was what Ron was kind of getting at a few minutes ago, but people say that all the time, and they say, how do you know you're not hearing words that were programmed in, or these things will pull things from the internet? And it's true. They all have the ability to do that, and you don't know unless you go pull the libraries what actual audio is in there. But I highly doubt that Dave Miller or whoever produced this app put your first and last name into it. And so, they didn't even know me 2 years ago when they made this. And why would they put my name, you know what I mean? Right.
In their application? It's like,
yeah, there's a point where the skeptics just will cling to that skepticism no matter what, and no evidence.
They're not skeptics, so that's why they're believers. They're just believers in an opposing point of view that doesn't buy into any of this stuff being possible. Skeptics look for the truth. Somebody who thinks this is all caca is a believer. They're just a believer in something else.
True.
And to speak to the app and this piece of evidence that we're going to see, which is really one of the most amazing pieces of audio I've ever seen. It's fantastic. It's really good. It really is.
Look at myself in a mirror. I'll be right back.
But to speak to that too, with that skeptical viewpoint, right? What they never explain when it's dismissed as pareidolia, when it's dismissed as programming of the app and it's reading this and reading that, nobody ever explains the gaps. And what I mean by that is that the amount of times, the percentage in the data that you do for every session you do, that you don't get what you want, you don't get the answer, you strike out, nothing comes through. What is the mechanical, or if it's pareidolia, the biological, the physiological, what is the difference in the algorithm with this for all the misses compared to the hits?
Right.
Nobody can ever explain that. And that would prove that it's programmed and it's a bunch of bull if they could do that. But they can't.
They can't.
You're right.
Yeah. And it's that mathematical equation. I mean, if you took what the mathematical probability of randomly getting your first name and your last name coming one right after the other, the mathematical probability of that is off the charts. I mean, you'd never hear it. You could spend your lifetime scanning through stations and never have that happen from a mathematical probability.
I can tell you this. I had 2 women in that room with me who were skeptical. And when they left, they were skeptical no longer. So
yeah. I was blown away. I was like, holy, what?
Yeah, it's a what you talking about Lewis moment if you ever had one.
It's good.
I was stunned. I was like,
yeah, there is a look of shock on your face. Was that the first time you've heard your first and last name?
Let's show that.
I've always heard my first name.
Okay.
Never my last.
All right.
Your reaction is amazing.
Yeah, it's priceless.
Priceless.
No doubt about it. But let me play that, since we basically told them everything before we played it. So audience, I apologize. Here's that clip we've been talking about, and we will play this for you, and we'll have more discussion once this finishes. So here it is.
Can you tell me how many people are in this room? You watch? What was that girl's name? Susan, are you here? You are? Are you there? are you still Susan or where are you from?
Michelle Lebaron.
Oh, you said your full name. Holy crap, girl. I didn't hear that. Michelle Lebaron. Who said that? I've got chills. Oh my god, my eyes are watering. Holy crap. Was that recorder? Yes, if I have my recorder on. And he's recording. You said my name. Thank you so much. I am just numb. Thank you. Can you say my name again? I would love it. Please. Yes! Thank you so much! Oh, you're so love.
Okay, not only did they say it once, but
Yeah.
they repeated it for you a second time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that was so freaking crazy.
I love your reaction. You're like,
Her face Christ. Yeah.
I almost soiled myself.
almost? Is it almost? Or I'm just kidding.
No, really.
And that's why we can't investigate candy shops.
Good point. And I'm sure after they
That piece, yeah,
after they
that
see
piece
this,
is
they'll
amazing.
never let us.
Yeah.
Twice.
That piece is amazing. It says it 2 times. It's completely clear. I can't even foresee that there would be any kind of like, just again to address the doubtful side of what algorithm. Why would it come through like that, like 2 times in a row?
And I asked it. I'm like, and it was doing other things while I was sitting there shocked. And I'm like, oh my gosh, can you please say my name just one more time? Because I wanted that. I was like, for validation, please. And bam, it happened. And I was like, whoa. Yeah.
It's always amazing when we, like us, when we do a spirits session and then something comes out like your name, and not only just your name, but your full name, your first and last name, and then it's it's really amazing.
There's something very shocking to hear that, because one, you're not expecting it, but like Ron said, that was so clear that it's unrefutable that someone can't come forward and say, well, I'm not sure that's what it said. They may have said this. That was crystal clear as a bell. That was Michelle Lebaron, and it's not something you.
And she said it the way it's supposed to say, because she goes Michelle Lebaron.
Right.
Michelle is really my name. It's Michelle Lebaron, but in American, it's Michelle Lebaron.
Right.
So,
yeah, we dull everything down here.
That's what gets me, and it's not the story you're thinking. But when they say my name, right? People have a hard time saying my name. So when it comes through and they say it properly, and I'm thinking, most of these people here don't even know how to pronounce it, and you're pronouncing it right.
Hey, I don't want to talk about that. I killed both their names in the opener. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, murdered your name and last name.
Ron, I think I called you like Yacovetti or something.
Oh my God. It's on my business cards now. It's okay. It's on my business cards. I'm changing my Facebook to Yacovetti Lebaron because of the evidence. It's phenomenal. So it's going to be in there somewhere.
I called him that for like 3 days.
We got done with the show and I replayed it, and I mean, in the first 30 seconds, I'm like, Sheree, I called him like Yacovetti, not Yacovetti, and she's like, yeah, I heard that. but you're right, Michelle. I mean, and for them to give pronunciation correctly, which, like you said, normally probably isn't heard, just exemplifies that they knew exactly what they were saying because they had planned on it. It was said purposely. It was said a second time at your request, and it was pronounced in a manner that you knew it was supposed to be.
That would be a fascinating field of or sub pocket of study to me. And I don't know if you've ever looked into this. I haven't, but the thing with her name, the thing in this clip with Michelle's name, and then I used to work with somebody named Rosalind, and everybody called her Rosalind. And I did an SB11 session one time after everybody had left the office. And I said, I let it run for 20 minutes and nothing came through. And then I said, name somebody who sits around me. And it said Rosalind the right way. So is there, I wonder if there's any kind of, lack of a better term, like collection of data that would suggest how much that names come through when the pronunciation might be specific or off what the Americanized, ruined version would be. And they say it properly.
It's mind-boggling.
That is a great.
That is the reason why I know how to, because I was one of those people who would pronounce this woman's name Rosalind all the time. The only reason why I pronounced it Rosalind now was because of that EVP. It was so clear,
Well, next time we'll ask the spirit to pronounce my name too.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
I've heard them say it correctly, though. I don't know if I've heard them say it incorrectly. I've heard hundreds of people. You've been everything from Mary Cherry to anything but Marie Cherie.
Mary Cherry, right? Yeah.
But they usually just call you Cherie. I've never heard them. We'll have to ask.
Yeah,
that's a great point, and would be a really.
I'd be curious to see if there's any collection or any way to kind of like look at the data that people collect just on average and see how many times names that may or may not be bastardized come through properly like that. But not to get too far afield from what we just saw, that was an amazing piece of evidence to get it once.
Right.
The two times, to me, that's as an ITC focused specialist who does research like yourself, Tony. That to me, like that's a feather in the cap of the field. To me, like that sets everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And to get it twice, first time and then a second time on request, asking for it, that starts to break down those skeptical boundaries of being able to just dismiss it as chance. I mean, like I was saying before, the mathematical probability of those two words coming together randomly by chance are astronomical. I mean, I don't want to even get into the numbers of what it would take to have that happen.
And twice in the same sitting too, like
so clear twice.
The skeptic would be out on a limb to suggest that happens twice because it's pre-programmed or it's reading media or whatever. If it did it today and it did it 2 months from now, maybe it comes back around, that API or APK, that file comes up. But 2 times in the same sitting, and when she asked for validation to do it again, that's
on demand.
Listen, if my apps did that, I would be in my banking app all the time going, double my money, double my money, double my money. They don't listen to you like that. Apps don't listen to you like that.
Doesn't happen. So true. But that was an excellent example. And like I said, I knew you were sending that one over, but when I actually heard it said, I was impressed because, like I said, there's times where you think you might be hearing something and other people, you can't disagree with that one. It is clearly your first and last name, and like I said, the being said repeatedly on command. That's incredible, and you should be very impressed with that catch because that was really, really good.
Thank you.
Really, really good.
Even your teammates also have that they were really shocked.
Well, yeah, and like you were saying, one of the best things about it was that your reaction was so genuine and so real. That's just great to see because it's Class A, exactly. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It was no doubt about it. But that was great, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that with us. We really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
But Michelle also has some really cool photos we're going to take a look
at. Oh my gosh, I love this one.
Now, I'm going to go through a couple of different sets, but I'm going to try something here where our audience will, and this is the first time I've ever done this, so if something blows up, I apologize. I don't think it will. But I'm going to put it on screen so that they can see the photo that we're looking at and see us as well. So let me flip to the first photo that I want to talk about. And give me 1 second here just to find it. Okay, so the first one I want to look at is... this is a photo of what looks like, and Michelle, give me a little background on this, but there's a shadow in the mirror, but I can't tell if this is actually somebody you were in the building with, because there's something in the shadow. I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
But is the original shadow that I'm seeing of a woman, looks like from the back, was that somebody in the group casting that image in the mirror?
The one picture you see, the shadow, is a friend of mine. He's a male, and his name was Mike, and he was walking away from the winding stairwell at the Washoe Club, and I just happened to go click because I just thought it was really cool, you know. And then I went through the photos, and I was like, "Whoa, what the hell is that?"
Okay, well let me bring up the first photo. And let's see if our pictures actually show up with this as well. Yep, looks like they're going to. So here it is. Here is the picture, and I actually can't tell, Michelle. Is that yeah? That's a mirror, right? That
yeah,
is reflection.
it's the mirror up against the wall.
Okay. So at first, when I looked at this, I was trying to figure out, okay, are we looking at a shadow figure? But then I realized, no, this looks like an actual person in the mirror. But then I began to see the second portion that you pointed out, and we'll zoom in on this in the next photo or two that are coming up. But I don't know if anyone can see it now with it up like this. Mm-hmm. But there, what looks like 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth in the upper left-hand shoulder of this gentleman of the reflection in the mirror. So let me move and zoom in. Hold on, I just want to make sure I don't mess these up. Okay, so here it is, zoomed in and colorized a little bit differently to bring out that face that we're referring to. This is actually a black and white version of it, but the face definitely pops out in here. So that's up right now. And you can clearly make out 2 eyes. Even you can even see an eyelid, eyebrows, the nose, what appears to maybe be a goatee mustache, a chin, and then what could be, it's hard to tell because of the lighting and the coloration, but what looks like could be a goatee beard, a long goatee beard.
That's what I get, and I'll tell you what I think it is once you guys.
Well, let me bring up one more version of this photo, colorized a little bit different, because it also helps bring it out.
I always like to add those different colors to bring out the photos.
There's a soulfulness to the eyes that you can see in pretty much every version of it, but especially in the last 2.
Yes.
Exactly. So go ahead, Michelle. Say what you were going to say about what you think this is.
What I got from it, and I've seen a photo actually in Virginia City of a group of miners. And this group of miners had one gentleman in the corner, and he was bald, and he had a very long white beard and a mustache, and he was actually Oriental. He was a Chinese laborer. And that's who, and if I can find that photo and I can show it to you side by side, it would blow you away.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, look at the eyes.
Yeah, the eyes really pop.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
do. It's hard.
And the
I mean,
eyebrows.
Yeah. There's depth.
I mean,
You can see
always,
the eyelid.
Yeah. You absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
it was like I was taking a picture and he was looking right at me. It's like, hello.
It's like there's he has also a mustache like curly.
Yeah, he
like
does.
Yeah.
It looks like
Kind of like the thing that goes down like
Yeah.
this and then the long beard.
Right,
Like, you know, a Fu Manchu sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, there's the whole concept that the human brain is the whole pareidolia thing, where the human brain is
Yeah.
designed to pull out familiar things like faces, but this
But
one's
this one it's not.
really hard to not believe you're actually. I mean, the details on it. I mean, I literally can see the right eyelid.
Yeah.
With such detail, and the eyebrow and the wrinkles around the eye, that it's real easy to pick out what looks like.
You can see his bone structure, his cheekbones.
You can.
Yeah.
You can see the bone structure. You can see the nose casting off his face.
Right.
And the bone structure. It's crazy.
Yeah, the detail in it is so profound that to just completely say, okay, that's pareidolia. No, this is very distinct and very very natural looking and very pronounced in its detail. It's a cool shot.
I get a lot of people saying, pareidolia, but, I just let them say what they want to say. At that moment, I know what I felt, and when I took that picture, I saw it instantly and I was like, oh no.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
To me, I don't think it's pareidolia, but, I do have some that is like, oh yeah, that's pareidolia,
Right.
know? So, I mean, but I always welcome people's, opinions and criticism. I mean, that's what we do. We have to accept it, whether it's right or wrong or pareidolia or it's not. And I never get mad at that. I welcome it.
Yeah, well, that's called having an open mind.
It's the right approach.
Yeah. And a lot of the doubtful side of things does not have that. Pareidolia is a real thing, is no doubt. It does happen. I think you have to use a level of discernment when you're looking at a piece of evidence, and I think like in some legal systems where it's not a complete guilty or innocent. If there's a preponderance of evidence that suggests more one way, then that's the way you go. So I mean, in a case like this, you can find people who are going to say pareidolia. You can find people who are going to go, "Holy crap, that's a face." If you had pick it apart and go with the eyelids and the nose and stuff like Lourdes was saying, I would say that the evidence leans heavier that this is an anomalous capture than pareidolia.
I would agree.
But just because somebody calls it pareidolia doesn't mean they've proven that it is.
No, that's a very good point too. Just because pareidolia can happen and does happen doesn't mean that every instance of a face is pareidolia. But that's a great point. But this is an astonishing catch, just because, like I said, the detail in it, especially when in this sort of blue colored one, really brings out detail that is quite amazing. But it's the next one that really caught my attention. So this is this is the Washoe Club, and the first photo here. Let me bring it up. Let me just make sure I've got the right one. Okay. Yes. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to transition to the next one. Again, we're still on the screen. The audience can see all of us. This is a photo that you took with the bar running along the right-hand side of the screen, the bar stools. And then you have something circled at the end of the bar, and it is on the bartender's side.
Okay, yep. Now this picture of the man in the mirror, okay? think about the man in the mirror. Okay. What happened here, and I'll tell you what happened, is I had some friends that ran the bar, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we heard noises like knocking and things over behind the bar. And I'm like, I'm going to take a picture. So I went all the way to the front of the door, and I stood in front of the entrance, and I snapped the photos. And what it looks like, and I'm going to tell you what I think, is, you know, the guy that was looking at us through the mirror, it looks like an Oriental man with his arms like this, leaning over the bar, and he looks like he's wearing a robe. Right. One of those robes.
He sure does.
So
that's exactly what it looks like. And it's funny though, because he's not on the patron side of the bar. He's actually like behind the bar, like where like the server, the bartender, you know, the whatever, one of the actual workers. Well, exactly. So let me show the next one because it zooms in.
Wait a minute. I have a question about this one. When I zoomed in the bottom, there seems like to be like a woman. Did you see that?
It's like a girl, young girl's face, looking upward.
Yes.
There's two different time zones, kind of.
By the stools.
Yes. She's like looking up, and she has kind of like a bun, and it's weird. It's like two different time zones. It seems like. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I did.
That's an
There's
excellent.
just so much in it.
Yeah, that's an excellent catch, Lourdes, because I saw that too when I first opened it. And I can't tell, there almost looks like there's another younger, shorter child like behind her even. And if you look at it real closely, it's really hard to tell. But let me zoom in
to
the one that's a little bit more zoomed.
While you're zooming in too, I actually wanted to reference something I wrote down and I forgot to say. During the video clip where your name came up twice, one of the audible things that came through during that session that it sounded like to me, and I don't think it was pareidolia, but it sounded like it said she has the gift.
Yes, I didn't catch those, and it was also going. If you listen to it, you'll hear it go, Michelle, like they're trying to get a hold, like asking me to say, hey, we're calling you, hello, and I didn't answer, and you hear this man's voice go, she has the gift, and then you hear Michelle Lebaron, like, hello. So
great
gosh,
catch,
it gives me goosebumps. Woo!
Yeah, I rewound that one several times. I almost burned out my computer.
All right, let me go to the zoomed in version, and there it is. And you can clearly see the robe that Michelle was describing, that his elbows are kind of leaning on the bar. And then if you look a little bit lower, you can see the figures and the faces that Lourdes was talking about. And then directly behind that looks like another, to me anyway, looks like another face. But yeah, is it different time periods? Is it different people? Are they connected? Are they not connected? You know, just so many questions to answer.
Vertical planes.
It looks kind of like one of the Flintstone characters to me.
Bam!
From here, it kind of, from my perspective, it kind of looks a little like Uncle Fester too. Same type of robe that he wore, and I can't tell if his head is bald or not. It looks like it could be.
Yeah, that's so true. It's weird. It's so good. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's a very interesting photo. You didn't see that, I'm assuming, when you took the photo. Nothing was there to your naked eye, right?
Absolutely not. I have other pictures. Didn't I send you more than one?
You did. I knew time-wise would restrict us, so these are the ones
I usually take consecutive photos, like 1, 2, 3, boom, 1, 2, 3. I always do that.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if there was something you could see or sense with your naked eye before you saw what was in the picture, but that's fascinating.
That's crazy, yeah, man.
Yeah. Wow. What was that taken with? Just out of curiosity, when we were with Tony and Sheree the last time we were on, We were talking about Sheree gets amazing EVPs with her phone. I got a really good shadow figure at the Queen Mary with a phone I used to have. What was this photo taken with?
This one was taken by my iPhone 8 back in the day.
Yeah.
And I do have one, but I don't think I sent it to you. I captured a funeral procession going on with my Luminex camera. It's insane. I'll have to share with you one day. I have to find it in my tons of stuff. But yeah, I've got the horse and carriage, the men sitting on the carriage. I took it at like 1:30 in the morning, and the second picture turned into it looked like dusk. And then you see the funeral procession. And then I found out on D Street that funeral processions happened on that street to take the dead to the cemetery. So there's that's one that I would love to share with you one day. I'll share it on your page or something.
Awesome. Yeah,
one day.
love that.
Yeah, I'd love to see that one.
And this is why we don't stay home and watch TV on weekends if we don't have to, because that's far more fun.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So true. Yeah, those are some great, absolutely fantastic shots. And like I said, the one that still up right now is fascinating to me, and I'm sure I'll be looking at this for days to come, trying to figure out what else I can see or what exactly we're looking at. But that's fascinating, Michelle, and just
thank you.
What were you going to say, Sheree?
Well, let's all say hi to all the people that tune in today. I mean, for tonight.
All right.
Let's see. Let's start.
You just skipped like 4 of them.
I know. Well, first Rhonda.
Hello, Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda.
Thanks for watching.
And
looks like Chris and Audra saw some.
Yeah.
Looks like Lisa Ludwig.
That's my bestie.
Jonica watched. Debbie Caspers, thanks for being here. Cheryl.
Hi guys. Thank you.
Hi all. Hello. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, Kristen Lee, Kit Bailey.
Kristen Lee was watching.
Yeah.
I love you, Kristen. If you're still there.
She's still there.
She's still here. Anyway, if you see any other names, make sure you yell them out. But Michelle, I wanted to say thank you.
April for joining us. Hi, April.
Michelle, we wanted to say thank you for taking your time and joining us tonight, sharing these fantastic clips. Really good stuff in here. Yeah. You should be very proud of what you've captured. This stuff isn't easy to get. Thank you. And there's people that go a lifetime trying to catch the famous apparition and not get it. And so this is great that you had this and you could share it with us. Also, a big thank you to Ron Yacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez for coming on.
Thank you for helping us.
Thank you guys.
Filling in as our host, we greatly appreciate it. This was great conversation, great comments, great questions. So we really appreciate that. So thank you to everybody. Hope you have a wonderful evening. And
do you want to let them talk first too before you close out?
Well, I'm not going to close it yet.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure I gave my thank you. So yeah.
We appreciate being able to do this. We enjoy the show every time we watch it. Really cool that we got to be on this episode because we were watching the evidence earlier today and going through the photos and the videos, and it was probably a holy shit fest. Holy shit! Did you see that? Did you see that?
That was good. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was really good, and it reminds you of the diversity and the variety of methods and places and types of evidence that we can capture. It gives you an idea of how you learn to evaluate, like we're saying, pareidolia, or where you draw the line between what you might toss out and what's really exceptional.
It gives you an idea as far as connection.
Yeah,
obviously you have a connection. That's why they said your name not once but twice.
Right.
And then they responded with the REM pod and the great EVPs. So you obviously have a great connection with them. They like you.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love. That's my calling. It's my passion, and I will do this forever until I go to the spirit realm. So
we know the feeling. I'm sure we'll be doing the same. But
Yeah.
We are.
you know, when
Oh, I'm just kidding.
when we were reviewing the evidence too, I mean that's a big excitement builder for us to the show, because when we get to see what we know we're going to be discussing and talking about, just like Ron said, getting to see what was there, what you captured, and the other cool thing is that, you know, we get to share these experiences not only with each other that are on the actual live stream, but with the whole group that's out there watching as well and getting to share that. So
Yes.
so that was.
I just want to say hi to Robert Michael. Hi, Rob. He's watching. Hi, John. My brother-in-law.
All right. Well, unless anyone has anything else, I think we've used up our hour. And but again, thank you so much, everybody. Michelle is our guest. Ron and Lourdes for coming on to help us out tonight to host. We really appreciate that. Thank you so very much. And with that,
the TikTok queen.
Oh,
that is true.
that's my therapy.
TikTok queen.
Oh.
I used to dance under that name.
It didn't work out. It works better for you.
Yeah, clearly.
All right. Anything else before I say goodnight to our audience? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. You guys have a wonderful night. Michelle, thanks for sharing that evidence. That was fantastic. Have a great night, everyone, and thank you.
Talk to
Good night.
All
Good
right.
night, guys.
Good night, guys. Sweet dreams.
You too.
Bye.